Good morning, everybody. I hope that you are all having a wonderful day. It is currently 3:32 a.m. as we are recording this, and you know what other podcast records at 3 a.m. in the morning? That's right, the Undertone podcast from the movie Undertone. Just came out not even that long ago, like only a few weeks ago. A24 has so far not disappointed me with any of their movies that they've made. This movie was very, very, very divisive. I mean, I think Fandango has like a 51% rating. But anyways, let's get into some of the details and then I'll just go ahead and state my full unbiased opinion about it. The guy that made it is named Ian Tuason. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And the guy, I mean, he seems like a cool dude. I'll be honest. But the movie was actually filmed in his childhood home. And he took care of his parents just like the main character, Evie, took care of her mom. Which is kind of what inspired the movie. But also creepypasta and a couple other things. But in 2025, it won the Audience Award for Best Canadian Feature. In case you didn't know that, because I didn't either until last night. I just started looking stuff up about it. That's whenever A24 picked it up and gave Ian a budget of $500,000, which for a movie is actually not much. At least not as much as you'd think, seeing as how there are some movies that cost like hundreds of millions to make, especially not horror movies, action movies and anything like that. But it grossed $15 million total worldwide and $9.3 million opening weekend, which is really freaking good. That's a success. Hopefully this kind of does spawn more like it with the whole audio horror subgenre. But the ratings were 71% with Rotten Tomatoes, which is not bad, seeing as how it is like 100-something people rating it. 6.3 on IMDb, which is not the best. 51% on Fandango, and 3 out of 5 for Letterboxd. So, pretty divisive, and I've definitely spent time reading reviews on it, and just about anybody that has problems with it have the same problems, saying that it was boring, that it was a snooze fest, and that they were just bored, not scared, whatever. Whereas on the other half, you could be that, other 49% or whatever of people that enjoyed the movie and loved it, which is what I did. I absolutely loved the movie. I only have like 2 complaints about it, and that is the kind of cheap jump scares, the jump scares that come out of left field out of thin air and scare you and don't have a lasting effect, and the ending, simply because I couldn't see it, and I really, really wanted to see the ending. I wanted to see what happened. But like I said, this movie did hit home for me. I was creeped out just about the entire time. I did not find myself bored. The tension building was really good. I loved the pacing of it. It's a solid movie to me. And that's maybe because I went into it not expecting kind of a Conjuring type film. I was going into it thinking, okay, what I need to pay just about all my attention to is the audio design. If I can pay attention to that, then anything else I'm not completely going to notice, even though I said I did not see the ending. And that is one of my complaints. But I could hear it. And I could kind of picture what happened. So, do with that information what you will. Me and my wife definitely talked about it whenever we got done because we both love A24 horror films, especially me. Even though some of them aren't scary, like Midsummer or The Heretic or The Front Room, but they all have that sort of feeling where it's like if you put yourself in the shoes of that main character, this is terrifying. Okay. But this movie Undertone has, like I said, been very divisive. I think whenever it comes to streaming services and people watch it with like headphones on, I think that's when it's really going to succeed because it's going to feel way more personal that way. But, sorry, first time ever recording something like this. Kind of nervous, and I feel like I'm running out of stuff to talk to way too early on. But I guess I'll start talking a little bit more about the movie in general, kind of what's going on. So, one of our Undertone podcast hosts, Evie, is taking care of her sick, comatose mother at home and is also trying to do this podcast with her friend Justin. And her friend Justin is, I guess, overseas in the UK or something. And the only way that they can record is if she is awake at 3 a.m. to record. Which, of course, if you watch horror movies or watch scary stories or anything like that, then you would know that 3 a.m. is probably the worst time to go through horror-related stuff. Which makes this podcast a bad idea, but oh well. I'll do what I want. But Evie is a very strong skeptic. It was to the point where it was, okay, Evie, you are being so unrealistic, because I do not care how big of a skeptic you are. If you start going through some of the stuff that Evie does, you have to believe. I do not think that you can no longer tell yourself that this isn't real. It's like, when you start seeing stuff that you threw away magically appear the last place you seen it before you threw it away, and you are the only one home, yeah, no, that's not good. But from what I listened to and what I interpreted, Justin and Evie have known each other for like a really long time. Like, they are childhood best friends type deal. She's got this piece of garbage boyfriend. Can't remember his name. I want to say it was Derek. I feel like it's always a Derek. But anyways, he convinces her, not Derek, Justin. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm so sorry. Okay. Justin tells Evie about how he got this email from an email that its email is only like just random letters, and they sent 10 audio files. So she's like, okay, well, I mean, let's listen to it. After he said that he tested it and it's not, like a virus or anything like that. Yeah, the first one's not really anything. It's, this couple. Can't remember the names all too well, but it's this couple and they're getting ready to have a baby and everything seems like it's going nice, except she's, singing childish songs, like old childish songs like London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. All the London bridges falling down. Yeah, those creepy songs. She's singing those while she's asleep. I'm telling you, I'm out of the house if I ever heard that. And it's, 3 a.m. in the morning. But I think they listened to like a couple audio files. Nothing like really serious happens. I listen to a couple, and then they get onto the topic about how childhood songs like London Bridges Falling Down and old songs like that played in reverse have like a creepy hidden message. And there's the one that Evie really likes that her mom used to sing to her, played backwards, where it says like lick all the blood up or whatever. I can't remember. It's something about a sheep. I never listened to any of these songs. I listened to Kids Bop when I was younger. Okay, like there was no, would never been around for any of these. These songs are terrifying. But at some point, Derek convinces Evie to go out and go to this party. Evie, of course, is taking care of her sick and dying mother. Like, her mother quite literally only has like maybe a month left. There was a nurse that was pulled in because stuff was just getting explained. But she tells her mom, "Hey, look, I'll just be out for a couple hours and I'll be back." Evie doesn't return till the next day, and her mother has pooped all over herself in the bed. So Evie is like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Mom," and cleans her up. Sorry, that was my alarm. Just making sure that I was awake. But she cleans her up, and then, a little bit of stuff starts happening. I mean, I could see a skeptic putting some things off that's going on. Nothing big, like the faucet turning on. Something like that. That's not much. But she goes downstairs, and then I want to say she gets a call around this time saying that she is 6 weeks pregnant. Congratulations. Look, being a parent is awesome. So, and then it was like, I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes later, in her time, not ours. In our time, it's probably like 5 minutes. Her time. And then you see her grab a bottle of Irish whiskey and pour it into a mug and then sit down getting cozy, ready to film the next podcast episode. And Justin knows something's up because he even asked her, "Are you drinking again?" She's like, "No." Liar. But they listen to a couple more, and this is kind of where the movie reminds me of Paranormal Activity. The reason why I say that is because in Paranormal Activity, the time when the plot would get further along would be every time he would, in Paranormal Activity, whenever he would go and review the footage from last night. So each time that happened, there was something more that happened in the video, and it was always the tension building. It was always like, oh, well, my girlfriend is standing next to my bed for like 8 hours just looking at me while I'm asleep. So that always furthered the plot. That was always when something scary happened, it was always the creepy, just burning tension. In Undertone, every time she puts her headphones on and they go to listen to another audio file, it's the same thing. It's the same type of feeling. It's the same burning tension. It's all the same feeling. I feel like this movie came out like, you know, around that time, which would have been like what, 2005, 2006, quite a while ago. I mean, the movie probably wouldn't have sounded as good, but I think that would have been the fitting time for it. Uh, but yes, they start listening to another audio file and then another. I think they listen to like two at a time for the first like half, and then they start listening to like one at a time or so. Like, yeah. But basically, after that happens, there was like something that kind of slipped through during the long silence. Then they end the recording, and then she goes back, and then she finds that. Also, I'm really sorry if any of this stuff is out of order. I do not remember it all because, I mean, I really wasn't fully planning on doing this. I mean, I wasn't taking notes, anything like that. I'm just kind of giving like a little bit of what to expect, even though it might be out of order or, yeah. So, apologies in advance. She goes back to this little bleep, and then she pulls it up and she starts listening to it, and then she starts to understand it and she starts to repeat it, and she repeats it and repeats it over and over. And it's just like, the Evil Dead, where guess what? You read this little message in Latin multiple times, you summon something. And that is what happens, is that something comes to her house. And it's like she invited it in. Okay, at first it was like just a little bit of something here and there, not much. Now we're like, okay, the plot's going to speed up. It is going to get a little bit faster. It's going to get creepier. We start seeing stuff in the background happening. It is creepy. And something that Evie, the actress, gets done pretty well is that feeling of discomfort when you have your back exposed, your headphones on, and your attention on a screen. Because you will see her just randomly look over her right shoulder because her back is exposed. She's in a very vulnerable state and she has full right to be scared. With those headphones on, you're not going to hear anything if anything happens. And that was also part of the sound design that is amazing, is every time she puts the headphones on, you hear everything else in the background just go away. And in a similar fashion, every time she takes the headphones off, you stop hearing Justin and all the background noise comes back. I think right after she summoned this thing, accidentally, but stupidly, she goes upstairs and lights flickering or something, and her mom's in the floor. Yeah, her mom, who cannot move, who's been bedridden for God knows how long. But she's on the floor, and then Eve is like, "Oh, Mom, I'm so sorry," and then picks her up and puts her in the bed, and it's like, you don't have anything else? Are you not concerned? But, yeah. Starts going further along, more stuff happening, more lights are flickering, more sounds can be heard. Then in the audio files, and this is when we start getting really close to the end. In the audio files, Justin is getting more and more scared because I don't think Justin is a skeptic. He does not come off as one. He is very much like a down to earth sort of believer. At least he believes in the possibility of this stuff being real, whereas Evie doesn't. Sorry, my nose stopped up. But he doesn't want to listen to these anymore. I think it's around like 6 or 7 when he doesn't want to listen to it anymore. Then they find out the name. The name is Abazu, which is also the email backwards. So Abazu is like this demon thing that is like a mother. It's kind of like the boogeyman. Like she goes after children because she's jealous that she's not a parent or something. And of course, if you've been paying attention, our Irish whiskey drinking Evie, who is 6 weeks pregnant, is not exactly like the best mother. Not only that, but she's also not the best caretaker of her mom. Although I do not blame her. I mean, I know that if I take care of somebody 24/7 and I'm not sleeping well, then yeah, I'd probably go and have some fun too. I'd feel like complete garbage and I'd never do it again, and I do believe she does feel that way. But, oh well. But she's like getting kind of mad. She's like, no, 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 we have to listen to the rest of them. And then I think they get to through all 10, and then she's like, oh, so it was all BS, anyways. And Justin's like, what are you talking about? She's like, it's obvious. Like, no, she's in denial. You can hear it, you can see it. She's in denial. But she's like, it was all a hoax. It was all a hoax. That's all it is. It's a hoax. And during their 10th file, it might be their 10th file, where they start getting phone calls about the people on the audio tapes. And somebody calls saying that they know the couple and how they died. Like, just a year before, like, not long ago. And then somebody else called saying, yeah, this kind of reminds me of when my downstairs neighbor was hitting the air conditioning vents with a sack with her baby in it. Like, and that kind of, there was this drumming sound where I'm like, that's what we were hearing. We were hearing the sound of that. And then it kind of gets into like, I'm not gonna say time travel, I guess like future prediction or something, because the woman on the audio files is saying she's listening. I have to tell her. And then that's when the demon voice starts coming in. It's like, you shouldn't have listened to all 10, it's too late, or whatever. And then some more creepy stuff happens. There's some more tension building, and then uh I don't know why she didn't leave out the front door. She went upstairs to her mom. Maybe it's just me, but I'm out of there. She goes upstairs and lights are flickering. It's creepy. It is apparently been a while. I mean, there's some wonky stuff going on, but it is so creepy. Like, I'm getting chills down my back right now because of it. She goes upstairs, and there's this little statue of a woman standing, and then, like, babies climbing up her. And this statue was thrown away earlier by Evie, and then reappeared where she threw it away from. So, like, it was on a shelf, I mean, a nightstand, bedside table, threw it away in a trash can. Next day, it's right back where it was. Makes no sense. Second time she seen it, right after that, she put it in the closet of that room. And we got a pretty nice little door mirror shot where I want to say this is when the mother, who is bedridden, started leaning up. It was creepy and I really liked it. But yeah. Okay, back towards the ending. She starts to go upstairs, and then she sees the statue. She gets distracted by it. There's a mirror where, if you look into it, it looks into the closet. In the closet, we see her mother standing there, and just put it in reverse and back up towards the bed. And she's not looking over at her mother. She is staring into this mirror, and she starts screaming. And then it gets pitch black, and then I'm pretty sure we hear Evie fall down the stairs and break her neck. Because that is also how the young couple died in the audio tapes. So yeah, like I said, I love this movie despite the 2 to 3 complaints, which is cheap jump scares, unrealistic skeptic, and the ending, because I could not see it. However, this movie is still probably in my top 3 or 4 of A24's horror films. Thank you everybody for listening. If you did listen, I'm not used to this by any means, so please spare me some sympathy. Like and subscribe, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. This is Early Morning Horror, signing off. Bye.